right, it is 6 o'clock. It's been 5 o'clock far too often for Finance Personnel, but I'll get there eventually. It is 6 o'clock. The Finance and Personnel Committee is called to order. We'll begin with the roll. Alder Close. Here. Alder Lefebvre. Here. Alder Decker.
Here.
Alder Perella is excused, and we wish her a pleasant flight. Mitchell is here. We have a quorum. Will you please join me in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, barring objection, we'll jump over item 4 for introductions, and seeing no objection, move on to item 5, the approval of the minutes from the April 28th meeting. Do we have any discussion on those minutes? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second, and seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Those minutes are approved. Next up is item 6, which is RO number 1 of 2526. We got it. Submitting a petition, notice, and list of tax liens of Sheboygan County being foreclosed in the matter of the foreclosure of tax liens under Wisconsin Statute 75 sub 521 by Sheboygan County. List of tax liens for 2014 through 2021. Anybody like to speak to this one?
Good evening. This is the annual list submitted by the county of tax liens on property within the city. If there's a foreclosure on any of these in the future, the city will end up receiving funds and made whole from the county. We'd be looking to file this item.
Questions or comments? If not, we'd be looking for that motion to file.
Move to file.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one has been filed. Takes us to item 7, which is RO number 129 of 2425. Submitting a claim from Melissa Clevenger for alleged damages to vehicle when it was hit by city property.
Good morning, Liz Majerus with the Legal Department. As you'll see in the packet, this is a total claim for damage to a vehicle, approximately $4,400. We are asking that this be filed.
What was the result of the claim?
I believe that the decision was made to pay it. I am just double checking. Apologies.
No worries.
All right, I am not seeing the decision within the packet, so that is an opportunity for us to improve in the future. But I believe that the decision was made to pay this. It was a grill that had blown into a vehicle during a windy day. This was paid. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. In that case, I can ask my question to the fire chief as to whether or not this grill has ever showed signs of aggression before, seeing as I believe it's on here twice in a row.
Sorry.
Any questions or comments from committee?
No.
All right, if not, we'd be looking for that motion to file.
Move to file.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That item is filed. Next up is item number 8, I believe, the return of our runaway grill. RC number 283 of 2425. Submitting a claim from Karina Berdink for alleged damages to vehicle when it was hit by city property. This one paid as well.
I'm sorry.
The grill has been retired.
Sorry, got distracted in a conversation. This is the same nature of circumstances, the same decision. Staff did pay this one.
Okay.
Same incident as well.
Okay.
Same grill.
Same grill.
Former grill.
Now retired grill, yes. That is good. Any questions or comments from committee?
Move to file.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. That one is filed as well. Takes us to item 9, General Ordinance Number 1 of 2526, an ordinance amending various sections of the Sheboygan Municipal Code to effectuate changes to the 2025-2026 Council Rules Handbook.
Thank you. There's a lot within this document for your consideration, so I'll just generally say that the changes within here are updating the municipal code to reflect the changes that were approved by the council at the first meeting of this council term, and then some other modernizations that we thought were appropriate and in line with the intent of those changes. So if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions or comments?
The one question, so as far as like now, the meeting order, is that, can we do something to change that, so that the meeting order can be changed if, for say, the finance and personnel would end up being a longer meeting, we'd want to put that, it's now last, what if we knew that, say that the public works meeting, we know it's going to be a 2-hour meeting, and we want to put that one last, are we able to do that?
Sure. So the way that the current handbook is written, we did include specific times, so we would have to change the handbook to afford that flexibility. We've made note that that's definitely something we want to incorporate into the next year's handbook. If the council wants to see changes midstream this term, that is allowable, and we would be, I believe that staff would support a more flexible approach to maybe just authorizing that the committees are generally scheduled on Monday evenings, and that would allow flexibility from meeting to meeting.
Okay, because I'd like to see that. I think that would be a positive, because you never know. I mean, we could have, especially law and licensing, generally it's a short meeting, but there's always those law and licensing, when they have a hearing. I've been on law and licensing where I've been in 2-hour law and licensing meetings, and I've been on ones where they've been 2 minutes. So I guess that one's one that, again, we may, if it's that way, you'd want to maybe have that one as the last meeting if it's going to be a hearing or something like that, so that the other ones aren't backed up. I mean, because otherwise we could be starting public works at, or finance and personnel at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so the way that was considered and addressed in this current handbook is that we anticipate the meetings will run within the prescribed time frame, and if the committee chair and committee clerk or support staff feel that a particular meeting will go long, we've included language in there authorizing and encouraging the use of special meetings on other dates and times.
Okay. So.
Alder with the favor.
That's basically being the vice chair of the License Hearing and Public Safety Committee. That's the point I was going to get. There are some times when, especially, there are licenses up for grabs, we'll say, that we have to accommodate a whole bunch of people and allow them to have their say, and that meeting would probably last longer than what's prescribed. So, if there is language in there that states that we can do that, I don't want to be locked in to something so that we don't have the time to address those.
Certainly, and as well as quasi-judicial hearings within the licensing overview, those meetings will go long. And I could envision certain topics within the other 2 standing committees that would bring about greater public input.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely wanted to allow for that flexibility. We just weren't as flexible as we could have been.
I've seen it happen. Thank you.
They could. Would you like to propose an amendment to the handbook that then gets referred to council?
Sure. Can we amend the handbook when it's an ordinance change in front of us?
Well, the ordinance change doesn't address the time of the meetings, so we would be able to do that. We would ask that the motion probably be somewhere along the lines of amend the council handbook to reflect that standing committee meetings shall occur on Mondays, removing the time requirements for those meetings, or however you wanted to phrase it to achieve that.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second on,
On an amendment. Well, actually,
An
do we have to
amendment.
first do the, and then we do that?
yes, that's a good point. Actually, we have to put that on the floor first, but I'm
So-
still a little bit lost on
Yeah, let's
the
do the,
germaneness of the amendment when we're talking about the ordinance right now and we don't have the
Okay.
handbook as part
yeah,
of it.
let me just look at whether we can bundle this into an ordinance.
I'm going to say it may be a better course to have an amendment to the handbook on next
Yeah.
committee's agenda so that we can.
I don't see an
still
ordinance
follow up with that as soon
specific
as
on that.
possible.
Okay,
Yeah, I can get that prepared for the next council meeting.
okay.
In that case, we would be looking for a motion to approve on the actual ordinance itself.
Motion to approve the actual ordinance.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Alder Close.
Just looking for a point of clarification. For section 4, it outlines one of the revisions that the agenda and supporting documents shall be published no later than Friday preceding the common council meeting. I wanted to clarify what time that would be referring to. So would it be close of business or sometime during that day in particular?
We aim for morning before noon, but the language is written to allow for by close of business.
Okay, thank you.
Audience question.
Normally, over the years, we haven't done public comment unless it was posted ahead of time so that people knew they would have the opportunity to come and speak. I'm going to be consistent with that, but Brian, if you'd like to talk after, we definitely can. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I'm not going to relitigate this entire item with remote attendance again. Obviously, part of this ordinance change is effectuating the change to the rules for that. That will be the reason I'm voting no, but most of what's in here makes perfect sense to me. It seems like we are going to be getting a lot more efficient, but
Okay, I guess I'll make a comment on the remote attendance real quick if you want. Just to
I'm
maybe.
going to have to explain further. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. I guess the remote attendance, I know that that's been by some contention, but like I said, I'm going to go back to, we've done remote attendance for probably almost close to at least 8 years. Before I was on council, before you and I were both on council, they did remote attendance. It just was that the requirement to have the person's name on is basically the only change that we're really changing on it now. And that was the way it was during the pandemic. I mean, and I believe, and I think that was, it went smoothly with that during that time period of time. And we did that for almost close to a year and a half. I mean, I believe we were on it from the start of pandemic, which was, I believe, like the first meeting we did was like April of 2020, and I think the last where it was on the agendas was probably like October of 21, and I believe everyone did very well with that. I mean, and I was the one I was one person that was actually in full attendance during the whole time. So I will say that it works well, and I think it really. I've looked at a couple of. Personally, right now, like I said, I'm waiting for my grandson to arrive. So, I put my name on for a remote attendance. But I mean, if something had happened sooner, if it had happened, like say he had been born early, and I would have had to, and it was an important meeting, I would have liked to have been able to have the opportunity to be a participant in a meeting, and this way we are able to do that. In the old way, we would not, and that's why I think this is an important change to the rules.
Thank you. Do we have any other discussion? Okay, we already have a motion and a second on the floor, so seeing no Alder Borsch.
Thank you, Chair. Regarding the question that Alder Close was asking, specific to the publication of the agendas and the timing of that, is there a possibility that that could be moved up by a day to Thursdays instead of Fridays? And the reason specifically that I'm asking that question is that I think that for anybody who would like to participate in the council meetings the following Monday, they may have very limited opportunity to let someone know with the proper notice that they want to participate. And just giving them that extra day might allow for that, a little bit of ease around that. So that's my question. Thank you.
So the law allows for an earlier publication deadline. The law is only limiting in the lateness of the publication deadline. There would be practical considerations at play, whether we bumped that up, and I would not be comfortable giving an answer on how those practical considerations would bear out without conferring with other staff first. But I would be happy to have those discussions and then reconnect with you on that.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes no, but the motion passes and that ordinance is approved. Okay, that moves us into items for discussion only with item number 10, the City Attorney's inaugural, or City Attorney's Office inaugural monthly report.
Thank you, Alder Mitchell. So this is, our first attempt at providing you a little bit of a highlight of the many varied things that the City Attorney's Office handles throughout the course of a month. I focused this report more generally. I provided some graphics to identify the general types of legal requests that we receive, how those requests break down by departments, then also some litigation, municipal court dispositions, and claims. I anticipate that future reports will be a little more robust. I welcome any suggestions that you have for things you'd like to see in those reports. I'll also add that we use a software program called LawView to manage our projects and caseload. Currently, we are not incorporating within that software the quick questions that come up by email, over the phone, or during meetings. As time permits, I do try to put those in and close them out right away, just so that we have a record of that. To have a better picture of how departments are utilizing our services. But those quick questions are generally not well represented at this time.
Alder Decker.
Just one quick question. I see that there's one for the water utility. Now, do you handle all the water utilities legal matters, or do they have private, or how does that, because they're them being a separate entity? I didn't know that worked.
So the City Attorney's Office can provide legal advice to the water utility, the housing authority, and the redevelopment authority. When we are dealing with very nuanced questions or questions in emerging areas of the law, then those bodies, just like council would, will retain outside legal counsel, and they'll confer with our office periodically as appropriate or necessary. But the water utility superintendent has a really good understanding of when to reach out to outside counsel.
Oh, thank you. I just didn't know.
Alder Close.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight from the end of the report, you did mention that there was an average completion time in the first quarter of 24 days, and that was reduced down to 3 days in the second quarter. So I just wanted to highlight that and thank you for your dedication to making sure that there's efficiency with all these legal practices. I know that there's the different matters. They concentrate mostly on council document requests and advice, but still that time frame shortening is has a big effect for being able to process requests in a timely fashion. So.
Certainly does. Our litigation matters are going to stay open a lot longer. Those will typically live for months. They live through the duration of a case and any appeals windows. But then as we're incorporating those shorter questions or those more straightforward issues, then that'll balance out our average and bring us down.
Thank you.
Alder LaFave.
I just wanted to thank the legal department for their diligence in keeping what's obviously in a transition period, the affairs of your office smooth. And I have a great deal of respect for our legal department, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the fact that we're being able to go through this transition as smoothly as possible.
Thank you.
And this is why I should make my comments first, because I'll piggyback off of that and say that I really appreciate the extra level of visibility that starting these reports is providing to the committee. I think there's probably going to be an ongoing conversation of what other items are going to be valuable for both, the office to share and for committee and council at large to hear. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that developed, and thank you for taking the initiative to kick it off.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, if not, this one was discussion only. As of now, we are planning our next meeting to be May 27th due to Memorial Day. And with that, we have exhausted our agenda and are looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.